Hey, hi, thanks for coming by Tori Magoo 44. Today is the 4th of August, and as you can see, I have Mr. Arnie Lerma with me, and we're going to just do a little interview today. Let's see, we got about 10 minutes.
Okay.
So, how did we meet?
I was in the Sea Org in 1971, and because I had a background in electronics, I had been service manager for a hi-fi store in Washington, D.C., and a technician. And I got sent to Delta Meter.
Delta Meter is?
Delta Meter used to be the manufacturer of e-meters for Scientology. Oh, there's a Delta Meter. Open it up. It's got that blue faceplate.
It does. It's so outrageous. We built these, right?
Yes, those are the ones there.
These are the
Delta
Meters,
there you go.
and I have one.
All right, this is the meters. This is from Delta.
Right.
All right. Now,
how cool is that?
It's very cool. And we thought they were very cool back then.
We did.
But there was a backlog, and there were some problems, and I was sent in to fix that problem. And we fixed the problem, and meters got delivered. But there was this gal that used to work at the front desk at Delta, and I'll show you a picture of the gal. Here you go. There was this girl working at the front desk, okay? But you have to imagine this gal wearing white hot pants, white boots, and a white halter top with waistline showing. And I have never forgotten meeting that girl.
I don't know who it is. Anyway.
You don't know who it is? Anyhow, that's where we met, and I was a Sea Org officer, so I, had to keep my distance.
That's correct. That's right. So he kept a big distance. Now, one other thing to show you, just while I have this out, because they originally had these Delta Meter cases, which I don't remember what they were, but then somebody made these leather cases, and they were like very hip, and I'm going to show you.
The guy that used to make them.
That's right, and here they are. So you can put it over your shoulder and have the Sea Org symbol on it.
Scientology.
Or the Scientology symbol. That's right. But there were these meter cases that were totally hip to carry your Delta Meter.
Hip leather. It's the early 70s.
Yeah, you got to remember.
Perfect.
Exactly. I mean, hippies, leather.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now you're in the Sea Org for a while.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to be able to cover 7 years in 10 minutes here.
Exactly. He's done a lot of stuff, so we're just going to take a few highlights.
All right, here's a highlight. I think I was a flag service consultant in 1975, maybe, and myself and a fellow named Hy Levy.
I know Hy.
I understand he's out now.
Yes. Hi, Hy.
Hi. If you're watching this, say hi. I'm going to tell the story of when they put us in the front window of the Hollywood Inn on display. So, for some reason, they put myself and Hy Levy in the front window aisle. The place right where you walk in front of these big windows, right there on the boulevard, with all of the people walking by. We don't have curtains.
How fun!
All right, and we each have a desk in front of one window, so people walking by could see this nice Italian Mexican kid with the suntan, and they could see Hy Levy, a good Jewish boy, sitting there in the window. And it didn't really occur to me that maybe there was more to this. Why we were there, because we didn't really sell a lot of flag services. We weren't very good salesmen, but we looked great in the window.
And those were things they thought of back then.
Well, they still think of those things.
Not too much.
But they're trying.
They're trying.
But good luck, David.
Yeah. Good luck, Davey boy.
Anyway, our stats were lousy, but we had a great time in Hollywood regging the stars, and we're not going there today. However, I will go to the day that I was ordered to the Rehabilitation Project Force. Now, I have infinite compassion for everyone that's gone through this program in Scientology, but there is a difference between you guys and me.
Let me make one thing clear, because a lot of people get this mixed up. The RPF is their slave camp.
Yeah, their slave camp.
And it's only for Sea Org. It's not for public.
Right. Anyway, So I got sent to their slave camp. At the same time, a gal named Linda Fremter, who was the chief reg at another Sea Org place, got sent to the slave camp. And we'd been talking to each other. And she called and she said, you know, Arnie, this is BS. And I said, yeah, this place is bleeding crazy. She says, what do we do? I said, well, to hell with this. I'm not going to the RPF. She says, well, I'm not going to the RPF either. I said, well, why don't we get in the van and drive to the East Coast and go to Follow East and just keep working in the Sea Org.
Now, this was in the old days.
Now, this is in the old days when you could get away with this stuff, okay? So, me and Linda and her son, George, who was 11 at the time, and George, if you're out there, please say hi, because I remember that trip. And we drove cross-country, and it was quite an adventure. And we pull into Follow East US, which is the equivalent of PAC, but it's for the East Coast. A little smaller.
Now, these are people who left staff here.
Yeah, now we were Sea Org in California here, and I lived here in LA, 811 Bacon Street. And Linda lived at Ashoberthing. And we show up in New York, and we walk into the Flag Operations Liaison Officer. Maybe it had a different name there. Anyway, whatever it was called. So we end up talking to the commanding officer. I'm sorry I don't remember your name, but maybe you won't want me to say this. But the place was a rat hole. But he said, who are you guys? And I said, Chief Petty Officer Arnie Lerma from, PAC. And, FBO network, finance trained, Delta Meter mission, blah, 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 blah. And Linda said that she was the chief reg at ASHO. And the guy, the CS, said, well, what are you doing here? And we said, well, PAC's crazy. They sent us to the RPF. All right? And we said, that's bullshit. So we came here, and we're reporting for duty at a Sea Org, at a Sea Org facility.
Right.
And the guy kind of scratched his head and he said, well, okay, so you're here, but you left PAC, and, well, you didn't blow the Sea Org because this is the Sea Org. Okay, so you're not blown staff. Well, that means, oh, wait, well, let's do a liability formula, and we can use you on staff here.
Dust you off, and you can be on staff there.
All right. And for my liability formula, I made a bug detector for the Guardian's office, which was, one transistor RF amplifier,
right,
for finding little transmitters around the place.
Right.
And I got upgraded, and suddenly I was on staff there.
Which is definitely the old days.
But you have to understand, this was the old days, because I don't think you guys could get away with this today.
No. But Arnie has a fantastic website, lermanet.net or .org?
Lermanet.com.
.com, okay.
All right. The org site is run by somebody to dead agent me so that you'll never listen to a word I say and believe that all the words that I tell you are all made up, because none of this is real, because I'm crazy. And if you find the org site, it's actually kind of entertaining. But I prefer that you read my site, which is lermanet.com.
Right.
At the time that I made the website, I couldn't get lerma.com because somebody in the Bahamas had registered it and was holding it. A law firm there.
Didn't they break into your house? Can you tell that? We only have about 5 more minutes, but didn't they break into your house and steal your computer?
Well, they didn't break in the house. They lied. They basically lied to a federal judge and told the federal
Church of Scientology.
Well, you could use that word.
I'm just saying, I don't either, but I'm just saying that's their name, and yet here they are.
It's a corporate name. It's not. It doesn't mean anything.
Well.
Okay. Anyway, so they went to a federal judge and told a federal judge that I was in possession of stolen intellectual property, which, of course, was the story of Xenu and the Space Cooties, which got posted to the internet in 1995. I believe it's right around the anniversary of when that appeared on the net 11 years ago.
Oh, all right.
Today.
All
11
right.
years ago today.
Really?
Yes, because it was about, I believe it was the 4th of August when it appeared, because they came around and raided me a few days later.
Wow.
And what this was a document that had the OT level 1 through 7 as of 1978. The materials had been posted anonymously by a moniker Scamizdat.
Oh, right.
But because it was anonymous, nobody could really say it was real.
Right.
And Scientology kept saying that, oh, these are forgeries, this is not the real thing. Of course, I read the Scamizdat post and I went, yep, this is what I remember when I was there, the same stuff, this is real. And it just was infuriating that they would lie.
Which they
to their own members.
Do all the time.
Still.
Yeah, they still do. Saying there's no disconnection. Oh, yeah.
Well, okay, but this was just about whether OT3 and the story of Xenu was a real deal.
Right.
And a moniker called Scamizdat had posted it many times. Well, maybe a dozen times it appeared. He also posted knots, and a lot of Neds and all this other stuff, But I just had the 1978 version of the OT levels in a affidavit called the Fishman document, which had been filed in a court case by Graham Berry.
Right.
Well, see, people had been sending me affidavits to scan, and a lot of the affidavits that are on the net I had been scanning through 1994 and early 95 and uploading to Usenet, and then they go all over. And at the bottom of the pile was this one affidavit that was in terrible shape. And what it was the Fishman aff. And I looked at it and I went, oh, this is the OT levels. Holy mackerel. I might get in a little trouble for this. Boy, this is a real deal. I remember this. Well, it turns out that the materials had been getting mailed to me by a man named Joe Harrington, who had been a Scientologist. And I had known him in Washington, D.C. when I was a teenager. And
you have to end it in like 2 minutes.
I got 2 minutes?
Well, I think we're over, but let's try it.
Well, to be continued.
Yeah, to be continued.
How's that?
Part 2.
Anyway, the Scientologists raided my house and took my computer, ransacked everything and went through it. And if you go to lermanet.com /COS/raid.html, you will see pictures of Helena Cobrin, the president of Religious Technology Corporation, Warren McShane, and a bunch of other guys ransacking my home to get this document. But the story of the lawsuit will have to wait for another 20 minutes. Part 2.
All right. So, peace to you guys. Thank you. And we'll have a part 2. There's the phone also. Bye-bye.